Hey, what's going on, everyone? Nick here to talk about Servant Episode 7 entitled Camp. There will be spoilers. You are warned. Listen, I know I'm a little late getting this video out, seeing as this video is coming out on a Wednesday, and then Episode 8 comes out on Friday. Sorry, life just got super busy with some other things and whatnot. It happens. And I do this as a hobby. So again, I'm just having fun with it, right? If you're new here, you want to support me though, hit that like button, subscribe button. I will give you the honest opinions based on storytelling, character development, plot details, analysis, all that fun stuff. No drama, but I digress. It was a pretty interesting episode here, I think, with this camp episode. I don't like any of what I just said. Hey, what's going on? Nick here from the Real Here. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Nick here to talk about Servant Season 3, Episode 7, entitled Camp. There will be spoilers. Yes, I am getting this video out later than expected, but nonetheless, I am getting my thoughts out there on this episode. There will be spoilers, but I'm sure by now you've probably seen it. So with that all being said, if you are new here and want to help support me on this channel, hit that like button, subscribe button, share with your friends and family, and let's just get right to it. I think this episode was fantastic. I think a lot happened that needed to happen. We're not done seeing everything yet. Again, my thought earlier on in this season was that the first half of the season was going to be a build-up, and then the second half of this season was going to be where shit really hits the fan. And in the previous episode, in episode 6, with Fish, there was a lot that happened. Of course, with the block party, before that, in episode 5, and then the dinner party with the minister. Can't think of her name now, but nonetheless, things are heating up, right? And this episode was pretty big. I will kind of just give it straight. Dorothy is just annoying me as the season continues. She needs to wake up. There's this moment where Leanne leaves, right? Where she's being shunned away to this camp. She's outside still in the rain. And as Vera put Jericho in the chair in the kitchen, Dorothy goes to check on Jericho. She screams, and she's holding the body, or sorry, not body, but the baby, the fake baby that looks real and creepy as hell. And she's like, I can't do this again. I can't do this again. It's like, what do you mean you can't do this again? Does she remember? Does she remember that time when Sean was away doing the Gourmet Gauntlet Chef thing, the TV show, and she forgot about Jericho in the car for 5 days? And then all that time period with the fake doll. She's never once mentioned it since having Jericho back. And I really do believe that she's just blocked out, deleted this part of her brain. And I understand that this can happen in real life, and I'm sure it has happened in real life. In fact, I've seen it happen from a couple articles I've been able to dig up. In this idea that we're seeing it in a fictional TV show, but just drawn out in a different way with some weird aspects to it, makes it just a little bit more creepy, right? I do think that Dorothy is starting to come around, but she just hasn't had that come to Jesus moment. Whereas Sean, on the other hand, he's the level-headed one between the two. He's very easygoing. He seems to be very rational. Like, let's just calm down. Let's not yell. Let's talk, rationally. Let's, even like there's the moment in the bathroom where Dorothy yells at him and like curses at him, like, you're supposed to be on my fucking side. And it's like, when was there this point where he said that he wasn't? Like he tries to be there for Leanne. Leanne respects Sean a lot. And I think because it's well reciprocated. And meanwhile, Dorothy is just trying to overburden her. And Sean just seems very real. And Dorothy just has this like fake, almost like pretentious attitude and like demeanor. And I don't know if it's just the news channel part of her that is making her do this or what, but I can't stand her. It was kind of funny because when I was watching it initially last Friday night with my girlfriend, and she's like, I can't fucking stand her. And I was like, yeah, she is getting rather annoying. And especially with the way she's treating Leanne, right? Like, she's overly concerned about Leanne and doesn't really ask what Leanne wants, to the point of Julian upon him entering. And he's like, I think this is a terrible idea. And it's like, yes, Julian has arrived. I love more scenes that he's in. And I think it was rather interesting that he just kind of, as he popped out of nowhere, but he knew what was going on because of Vera, because it was also Vera's call to assist via Dorothy to go to this dance school in New Jersey. And it's not because, he was fucking the nanny. That has since stopped, and, he hasn't done it since. And maybe he has some feelings for Leanne still, which is fine, but it hasn't really interfered with what's been going on. And I don't think Dorothy is able to really see past that. And she's just still sort of caught up on this looming threat, right? It's almost like in the beginning where Leanne was, cautious about it. They didn't really pay attention until it happened. And then there's that like wake up call. Oh shit, it's real. Leanne wasn't lying about someone or this cult coming after her. But then when she realized that the homeless people were there to basically come to Leanne's aid and almost worship her to a sense, right? Like, she's almost become this, I'm not going to quite say savior, but this, royalty, I guess. Like, she was able to escape, right? She's the VIP because she was able to escape him. And, that's the really other interesting thing. We still don't know who this him person is. I don't think it's God. I think I don't even think it's Uncle George, maybe. Although it could be. But Uncle George let her make her own decision. Or even when, the whole Aunt May thing happened as well. I do want to say, in terms of what may come within these last 3 episodes, I think Dorothy's going to continue to freak out over Leanne. And much like we saw Leanne leaving in almost shock, when she's standing out in the rain and she tells Toby to go home, Vera looks like she's out of the picture for good now. And while Leanne is standing outside, we hear these echoes of Jericho being in the basement, but not being in the basement, back in the kitchen, but they were just in the kitchen, upstairs, but she's not upstairs, and while Sean's in the basement, the foundation starts to crumble even more. Part of it breaks off. Listen, I know it's a floating rumor out there that and not really rumor, but connection. This idea that Leanne and the house are one and the same. There's this weird resemblance of each other. The house crumbles the more that Leanne starts to feel a certain way or react a certain way. And listen, this episode was definitely evident of it, and it's very possible that entire house may crumble by the end of this show. I don't think it's going to happen this season within 3 episodes remaining, but definitely in the 4th season. And listen, I almost think, and I was talking with a friend of mine who watches this show, and she and I were talking about how, you know, what if this is all part of Leanne's plan to not just really be the nanny, but to also kind of come in and potentially take over as the wife, the mother of Jericho, which she may still be the actual mother of Jericho. Because as soon as she left, what happened? Human Jericho turned to creepy baby doll Jericho. Was that intentional? Did she make that happen? Is there some sort of spell or curse that prohibits her from leaving the house while Jericho's in there? Is it attached to her will? It's like she told Sean, God didn't bring Jericho back. Well, if God didn't, then who did? Maybe it was the fallen angel, Lucifer. Who knows? We don't know. Could be this him person. It could have been Leanne, right? There's a lot of options out there. There's some multiple choice questions that we could potentially answer ourselves and wait till the season's over and see what we got right and wrong. But how creepy? I don't want to say creepy, but do you think that's the case? Do you think that Leanne may be trying to kind of move Dorothy out of the picture, and then it's just her and Sean? She seems to know a lot. She told Sean, "You'll be famous with the show." Very possible. And much like to Sean, who said to Dorothy, this is a huge win for them. His career. As soon as his career takes off, she just doesn't really care about it. She's more concerned about homeless people in the park. And she's like, no, I'm trying to protect my family, our family, my son. And then when Leanne goes to the park, and then Dorothy freaks out. God, that was hilarious. And then she, forbids Leanne to go back there. And then when Sean says, was he hurt? Well, no. Oh my God, imagine that. Do you really think Leanne would let anything happen to Jericho? Of course not. But Dorothy doesn't, she doesn't see that. She doesn't see a lot of things. And that's to her own dismay, honestly. Now, the other thing I'll say, and the last thing I'll say, is after the kerfuffle that happens with Jericho, as Leanne's standing in the rain outside, once Leanne comes back inside, and she takes the liberty to go back inside, like it's almost like I've played with them long enough. I think I've taught them a lesson. And she says, "Why, Mrs. Turner, Jericho's been upstairs the entire time in his crib." "No, she hasn't." Boom. There's the baby cry. "Oh my God, look at that. He's there." Again, that's some magic shit. Black magic shit? I don't know. Definitely ain't natural, but at the same time, kind of creepy. And then Sean, who took the moment to pray about it. Did Leanne hear that prayer? Don't know. It's very possible. But when Sean came back in the house and he's like, on my wife's behalf, mine and my wife's behalf, I think it was, we apologize, and you could stay here as long as you'd like. And she's very proper and thanking them. But just Sean laying down the law, like, listen, Dorothy, you tried it your way, now it's my way. Because again, Sean's not really trying to ruin anything. Dorothy is the one that's trying to unraveling when things are actually going well for once. And listen, I have a theory that Dorothy may bite the dust by the end of the season, where she really wakes up, is privy to all of it, and maybe somehow, again, has a sort of come to Jesus moment and apologizes for the way she treated OG Jericho, right? The one that she actually gave birth to, who died. And just sort of cleans the air with it, because I don't think she really has, if I remember correctly. She's never admitted to what happened in full detail. So I don't know. Again, these are just kind of theories I'm spitballing and talking with a friend of mine about what may or may not happen. But I do think there are clues there. And I think this is one of the interesting things about the character development that we've seen, where Dorothy's gone, where Leanne's gone, where Sean is going now, and even Julian. Like after it's all done, he wants to go to get a drink and he doesn't. That's growth, right? And even Leanne's in the kitchen saying, Vera's gone. She wasn't meant for you. You're broken, but you don't need to be fixed. Very interesting. I will say, if Leanne doesn't get with Sean, she may get with Julian, which would be interesting. So, but if you have any comments, go ahead and leave them below. I'd like to hear what people think. And I'll see you all soon. And I hope and I promise that I'll be able to get the right episode out in due time. So until then, cheers.